A very good morning to all my dear children, and I welcome you all for today's class in History and Civic Mahavira and Buddha, Great Preacher, Part 3. Children, in our previous class, we saw about Mahavira, who was the founder of Jainism, okay? And we saw the teachings of Mahavira, subsets of Jainism, Jainism literature, architecture, okay? In today's class, let's see further, that is Buddhism. Children, we are going to learn about Buddhism. First of all, let us know who was the founder of this Buddhism. Okay, so have you heard about the name Siddhartha? Yeah, Siddhartha, later known as Gautam Buddha. Okay, so Gautam Buddha is a founder of Buddhism. But let's see today his early life. Okay, now Siddhartha was his when he was young he was called as Siddhartha, but later on he was known as Gautam Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. Was a contemporary of Mahavira. Contemporary means nothing but children. Here you can say living or occurring at the same time. Which time? When Siddha Buddhism was there, even Mahavira also was preaching. All right, Jainism. According to one tradition, he was born in 563 BCE at Lumbini in Nepal. Okay. Then Siddhartha being a prince. Prince means no? King son. Okay, he's called as prince. Was brought up in his great luxury. Now if his father was a king, so he was brought up in a great luxury. Okay, he was a prince. He was married at the age of 16 to Yashodhara and had a son named Rahul. So he was very rich, had a luxury life. He was married to a lady Yashodhara and had a son named Rahul. When Siddhartha was a little boy, a wise scholar has predicted means said, that he would become either a great king or a renowned spiritual leader. So once the scholar had told that this Siddhartha will become a great king or a renowned spiritual leader means sannyasi. Okay. So his father kept him away from all his miseries of the world. So his father doesn't want him to become a spiritual leader. So he kept him away from all the miseries. Miseries means suffering children of the world, and got him to indulge in all sorts of luxuries and merrymaking. Merrymaking means living a very luxurious life. Okay, rich life. And kept him away from all human sufferings. But all these comforts failed to satisfy Siddhartha and made him restless. Restless means, but though he was rich and was having luxury, but this failed. Okay, he was in some other thought or in some other search. Let us see what was that. Okay. Okay, now let's see what you mean by search for truth. Okay, once on a trip outside his palace. Who went? Siddhartha. Okay, once what happened? He wanted to go out of his palace. Buddha came across what the Buddhists call the four great sight. Okay, this four great sight was the main reason for Buddha to change his mind from a prince to a sannyasi. Let's see what was his foresight, which left a deep impression on his young mind. When he was very young, he saw this foresight, and this foresight was the reason for his becoming a priest, all right, a sannyasi. This foresight indulged an old man. One side you can see old man, a sick man, a dead body being carried by weeping relatives for cremation. That means in one side there was an old man who was lying down, and in the other picture it is a sick man who is suffering, And then third picture, there some people are carrying the dead bodies, and the relatives are weeping. Weeping means they are crying when they are taking the dead body to the cremation. Okay, and an ascetic, unmoved by the pain, suffering, and misery around him. When he saw all this foresight, there was a lot of suffering in Buddha's mind. His he said he felt that there is so much suffering around. Okay, ascetic is nothing but self-disciplined children. Okay, so Buddha said, I am so, what you can say, I live such a luxurious life, but out of my palace, there is so much suffering. People are suffering a lot. Okay, these experience moved Siddhartha to such an intent that he decided to renounce the world to find answer to the mystery of life and death. So this sight gave a very much, what you can say, renounce experience. It was a experience for Buddha to renounce the world to find an answer why there is suffering, why the people are suffering. Okay, at the age of 29 he left his wife and child and went away in search of truth. He became a sannyasi. He went in a search of truth. So these were the foresight. You can see the first picture where the person is old man is lying on the cot. Okay, and then you can see the second picture just below that, a sick man walking around, and then you can see the dead bodies being carried. Okay, and he went to a priest to ask why the people are suffering, and he really wants the answer for it. So in order to get that, what happened, he left his wife and children and walked away for a priest life. Okay, children. Now, when I told you that he went around for the search of truth, okay, this event is known as Mahabhiskaramana, okay, the great going forth. Okay, he started, well, he left his luxurious life and he went for the search of truth. He kept on wandering means moving from one place to another for about 7 years, and then attained knowledge under a people tree. Okay, he started meditating. He wandered from one place to another in order to search, in order to be in search of truth. Okay, and one fine day, what happened? He was meditating under a people tree. People tree, you can see the image here. All right. It is also called Bodhi tree at Bodha Gaya in Bihar. Okay. So, 7 years he was wandering and meditating, and then attained knowledge. Then attained knowledge means what? God, he was enlightened under a people tree. Okay. From then onwards, he began to be called the Buddha or the enlightened one after having got enlightened. Enlightened means he became, what you can say, a spiritual leader. Okay. Buddha decided to dedicate the rest of his life to spread his message far and wide. So, after that, after getting enlightened, he decided to dedicate the rest of his life to spread his message. Let's see what was his message. Far and wide. He wanted to spread this message far and wide. Okay, everywhere. He gave his first sermon called, sermon is nothing but preaching. Okay, called Dharma Chakra Pravartana, that is, the turning of the wheel of law at Saranath near Varanasi. Okay, you have seen the Saranath pillars. Okay, we have got Ashoka Chakra over there. Okay, so this is Dharma Chakra Paravartana, that is the turning of the wheel of law at Saranath. It is in Varanasi. He passed away, that means he died at the age of 80 in 483 BCE at Kushinagar in Uttar Pradesh. He died. Okay, children. Now let us see what are his teachings of Buddha. What are the teachings of Buddha? All right, we had saw the teachings of Mahavira. So don't get confused. You have to remember the teaching of Mahavira is different and the teaching of Buddha is different. All right. So the religious philosophy preached by Buddha is known as Buddhism. Okay, so Buddha is a founder and Buddhism is a religion what they followed. It is also known as the middle path because it lies between midway between two extremes. That is the extreme austerity and harshness of Jainism and the extreme ritualism of Hinduism. That means this Buddhism was in between the midway of Jainism, okay, and the extreme ritualism of Hinduism. The main teachings of Buddhism comprises the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. Okay, this Eightfold Path was called Ashtangika Ashtangika Marga. Okay. Now, I told you about austerity. Austerity is nothing but attitude. Okay. So, that is the extreme attitude and harshness of Jainism. I told you, no, Mahavira's following Jainism and the extreme ritualism of Hinduism. All right. Now, let us see this four noble truths. Buddha preached four great truths. What was this four great truths? The world is full of suffering. There is lot of suffering, lot of pain in this world. And human desire is the cause of all suffering. And what is the cause of this suffering? Why there is pain in the world? Only because human desire is nothing but human wish. Okay, human beings are unfulfilled wishes. No, if one wish is over, the next wish come. So human desire is nothing but wish. Okay, human desire is the cause of all suffering. Okay, suffering can be ended only by giving up desire. We can end the suffering only by giving up our desire, giving up our wishes. Okay, we should be satisfied with what we have. If you are becoming greedy and if your wishes are increasing, what happen? You are increasing your suffering. Okay, desires are nothing but wishes can be overcome by freeing oneself from the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Okay, now wish can be overcome by freeing oneself from the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. This is all happening. It is a cycle, no? Birth, death, and rebirth. Okay, this can be achieved by following the eightfold path. So, Buddha thought these are the teachings of Buddha. What is that? The world is full of suffering, and human desire is the cause of all suffering. Suffering can be ended only by giving up desires. Okay, now let us see the eightfold path. Children, the eightfold path, that is Ashtangika Marga, the eightfold path of virtue consists in. Now, these were the eightfold path with Buddha taught. Okay, that is right action. You should always be in a right action. The work or what action you do, it should be always correct. It should not be painful for others. Right belief. You should believe right things, not superstitious belief. All right. Right effort. You should put your correct amount or right effort. Right means of thought. You should have a good thought in your mind. Right meditation. Right meditation means meditate yourself. Then right memory. Okay, think. Right speech, what you speak. Right livelihood, live a good livelihood. Okay, so these were the eightfold path that Buddha taught, and I think you also can reflect on this eightfold path, which will help us to enhance our spiritual life. Okay, children. Now, next was ahimsa. Buddha preached ahimsa or non-violence. Ahimsa means non-violence, not killing others, beating others, not only physically but also verbally, okay, with your mouth, speech. He asked his followers to practice non-violence and to lead an upright life, to live a good life, okay. Karma and rebirth, no karma, whatever the deeds we do, and rebirth like Hinduism, Buddhism believes in the theory of karma. They believes in the theory of karma, that is good deeds are rewarded. That means if you have done good deeds, you will get a good reward from God, and if you have done bad deeds, you'll get a punishment from God. So that is what it is called. Good deeds are rewarded and evil deeds are punished. He believed in the theory of reincarnation, that is rebirth. Okay, once a person dies, he takes a rebirth in some other form. Okay, so that this was ahimsa that was taught by Buddha. The next we have caste system. Buddha was against the caste system, high class, low class, okay. That is why he welcomed everybody, including the backward classes, into the Buddhist Sangha. So he invited everybody, irrespective of caste, okay. Nirvana, the ultimate goal of life is to attain nirvana or salvation, okay, to attain salvation, moksha. It is a peaceful state of mind. Now, salvation is nothing but it is a peaceful state of mind which conquers all diseases and makes a person free from the cycle of birth and death. Okay, so that is what salvation. Okay, children, with this, we come to an end of this session. I hope you all have understood. The remaining part of this lesson will be continued in the next session. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you. Bye bye. God bless you. Children, with this, we come to an end of this session. I hope you have understood. The remaining part of the session will be continued in the next class. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you. Bye bye. God bless you.